Cool Guys isn't your average real estate podcast.
Our mission is to give buyers and sellers the power of knowledge through their real estate transactions.
We do this by helping first-time homebuyers realize that there are more expenses that come with owning a home than just the loan.
We also understand there are many times move-up buyers and sellers have forgotten the process because it's been so long since their last real estate transaction.
We make the downsizing easy.
Once you get into the habit of working with us, the process becomes so smooth you won't mind to move.
We are also excited to share with you what all the Midlands has to offer.
This episode is brought to you by Dick Dyer Mercedes-Benz, the first Mercedes-Benz in South Carolina.
Yeah, so I'm curious, what's some new law enforcement technology that y'all have that's making a difference in how you do your job or helping you accomplish your job?
So you want me to spill the super secret squirrel stuff,
Right.
right? Right.
Because
The drone.
yeah, well, and exactly, because I've been involved with Leadership Lexington County this year, and so I've met other folks involved in the Irmo Department and the hospital in Lexington and West Columbia. And they've got some pretty cool stuff, but I'm curious from your perspective, what are the cool things on the job now that make it easier to do your stuff? Or
Well, like you said, we do have a drone, and we've used that we've deployed it for a missing person. We had someone with dementia walk away from a facility, so we deployed the drone in that. We've also deployed it before we might do a search warrant, just to get a good layout of the land. The funny thing is, we were trying to come up with a name for the drone, and I told the chief, I'm like, I want to call it Okra One. He's like, that's stupid. We're not calling it Okra One. I'm like, oh really? Oh really, Chief Dale? So I said it on Facebook, and it was like, yeah. And I'm like, guess our drone's named Okra One now. And it's the kids love taking it up too, because we'll take it to career days, and they like seeing the drone. It's got a microphone on it, so you can get it up in the air and talk to people. That's kind of cool. I want to mess with the fire department with it, but they won't let me for some reason. Whatever, no, I'll touch the drone. It's only a huge, expensive piece of equipment. But we're also looking into camera systems, and other agencies. We kind of borrow from them. The one thing that some of these agencies have are these flock cameras, these license plate readers. Not the kind that, because I saw somebody the other day, that's unconstitutional. Not the ones that take your pictures for running red lights. But they're set up to scan in real time. If you have a stolen car that comes through, it's everybody that is into this system will get a notification that a stolen car just hit this camera at this area. And so I know Richland County has been able to recover so many stolen vehicles. But not only stolen vehicles, it'll tell you if the person's wanted that's associated with the vehicle. So that helps out a lot, because you can't be out there all the time. And those same cameras help, when we had an older person kind of wander off in a car, and we were able to get with SLED and say, hey, has this car been picked up on any license plate readers? This is an emergency. And so SLED will come back and tell you, yeah, at this date and time it was picked up here, and it'll send you a picture of the car. So we're looking forward to that, to hopefully getting some of that technology.
You can't be everywhere.
No, you can't be.
Yes. Is surveillance like that a tricky issue with the police department? Because when you go to London, England, they say that is the most surveilled city on the planet.
Yeah.
You can't go literally one block without passing several cameras.
Well, and I think the most common conception is people think that we're at home on a Friday night with popcorn watching a surveillance camera. No, we're not. No, we're good. But when crimes do happen, surveillance can assist us in being able to get maybe a suspect description or whatever. But like I said, it's hit or miss, because tell me how you have cameras on roller coasters that can pick up the zit that hasn't even formed
Yeah.
on your nose yet. But then like some banks have cameras where you're like, is this even a person?
Yeah.
You're like, can somebody get with Disney World? Can we get Disney's cameras?
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah,
So.
it's funny. But along with the cameras and surveillance, like the chase, are there I mean, there are. The chases that happen in Irmo, how do you work with the outside counties to kind of, do you just hand it off to them once they leave Irmo, or are these other counties in like Columbia letting you still go into their?
Oh, we'll just let them know we're coming.
Okay.
But so the way our policy is set up, we can chase anywhere within Lexington and Richland County because those are the two counties that we're in. So if let's say if we need an agency with stop sticks, then we'll tell our dispatch, hey, get highway patrol, we need stop sticks. Or a lot of agencies will notify surrounding agencies we're in a pursuit and we're coming their way. That's just polite to do. So, and a lot of times we'll get agencies piping up in our channel saying, hey, where you at? We got stop sticks, let us know. So, and it really, like I said, it depends like on the time of the day too. 3 o'clock in the afternoon for a tag light, we're not
worth it.
Not worth it, no. Because, it's the way that it's set up is, yes, the violator is the one who initiates the pursuit. When they don't pull over, it's not the cops that start the pursuit. It's the person who doesn't pull over that starts it. But at the same time, and which is where you really have to have some officers that can make very good choices, very, level-headed. Because, does the risk, does this outweigh the risk? So like I said, 3 o'clock in the afternoon for a tag light, no. I mean, not unless like a serial killer is in the car. And even then you still have to balance the public's safety between catching this person. Now, 3 o'clock in the morning, interstate's clear, that's a different story. But Chief Dale really puts a lot of trust in his supervisors to know when it's appropriate, when to continue, and when to terminate. And I think what a lot of officers don't understand is there is more respect in terminating a pursuit. Say, like, like being able to make that decision, and being in the moment and just saying, hey, look, right now this isn't safe. Somebody could get hurt, somebody could get killed. So, and I think sometimes officers don't want to get picked on, or because I'm telling you right now, if you lose somebody in a pursuit, you come back to the office, it's not pleasant. There's going to be some light bullying. Like I can remember when I was working the road, somebody that we worked with turned around in a car and tried to catch up to him. And they couldn't, they dusted him. I don't know if they were driving like a Maserati or what, but they dusted him. And so one of the officers got back to the PD and put out a fake bolo. And it was like, bolo, last seen, whatever. And all you could see was taillights. And he put it in that officer's box. But like I said, car chases is one of the things that a lot of people get into this line of work to drive fast and be in pursuits. But I think at the end of the day, you really have to outweigh the safety of the public versus catching this person.
And when they run let's say they run, but you already have the license plate, are you able to do anything because you don't know if the person is the sure driver? Or how do you? You can,
because I hear people say that all the time, like, oh, you got the plate. Right. This is going to shock many of you. I'm sure you're just going to be floored by this, because I was when I found out. Oftentimes, when people are committing crimes, they take license plates from other cars and put it on their cars. They'll even steal license plates.
That's smart.
Yeah, so, like I said, it's 6 in one, half dozen in the other. I do have a lot of respect for agency heads that do have to sit down and weigh the liability of pursuits and you know, the restrictions they want to put on them. Like I said, luckily, Chief Dale trusts our officers to make the right call,
Yeah.
to make the call that's going to be suitable for the public.
Yeah. So speaking of trust, you work in the position of kind of public relations,
Mhm.
community relations within your department. How much trust, how much goodwill comes out of the fact that, and I'll bring this up because you mentioned Officer Larrabee going into Irmo Elementary as a school resource officer. And we're joking about, you know, taking his lunch break
Yeah.
on a daily basis when you met with us. But what kind of goodwill does that program build with the youth? And over time, have y'all seen it make a difference with an officer being in the schools and the relationship that, you know, kids have when they encounter them out in public?
So this is our first year
Yeah.
with Officer Larrabee being at Irmo Elementary School. And I can say unequivocally, without a doubt, they love him there.
Yeah.
Every time I've talked to a teacher, it's Officer Larrabee, we love him. And I'm like, all right, cool. I mean, he's, you know, he's right where he needs to be. He gets along good with the kids. I think that over time, I hope it will help build those positive relationships because, like I've talked about before, most children that do have interactions with police officers are not good ones. Whether they may be in a terrible family situation or even, you know, a crime could have been committed against them or their family. And so unfortunately, we don't get to meet some children in the best capacity. So to have him there, to have him as someone that they see every single day, to have him positively interacting with the children, gives them a positive light into law enforcement. And, you know, well, Officer Larrabee's nice. Officer Larrabee helps me. And so we're really hoping that just being in the school, making these contacts with these kids as they're younger, they grow up with a healthy relationship with law enforcement.
Yeah. And I guess y'all have had officers in place at the middle school and high school before? Or,
This is our first school.
Oh, wow.
Because the middle school and the high school are in the county's jurisdiction. And so Irmo Elementary is the only school in Lexington County in this area that's in the town.
Okay.
So we took that from Lexington County Sheriff's Department.
Okay. And couple that with, earlier today you were talking about your national night out that
Yes.
y'all are planning. So share a little bit about that and
So National Night Out is a night that we just host a huge party for the community. It's August 1st this year. I believe it's from like 6 to 8. Don't quote me on that. Or you can quote me on that. It's fine. Whatever. Just show up. We'll be there. So that's where we actually get to put on like a party for the community. Everything's free. Nothing, you know, there'll be like we'll have food. Last year we had Pelican snow cones. We had pizza. So we get a lot of our retailers involved. You know, we'll have there's no telling. We're wanting to have like some cornhole boards out there, some sidewalk chalk, just like a lot of fun stuff. I think it was even brought up maybe having a table where children can come and just write cute little cards or decorate cards so that we can take to some of our residents in elder care facilities. Because a lot of times people forget about, you know, like the most precious of our population.
Yeah.
So we would love to be able to have kids just like write cute little things and we can take them up to, you know, generations or whatever the places are in Irmo, the assisted living facilities for that. Usually I take a dance class outside of, yeah, I know, it's funny. It's fine, you can laugh, it's fine, it's fine. I've been taking this dance class for probably like 10 years, and so we'll perform 30 minutes. It's like an exercise class, but it's it's choreographed to like songs that you'll hear on the radio.
Richard Simmons, that kind of thing.
Yeah, you know, it's definitely got some ABBA in there, yeah. So, you know, like it's fun, and it's like at 8, we have class at 8:15 on a Saturday, so it's the only way you can trick yourself into working out. It's like you go and you just feel like you're in a club for an hour. So we'll do some of that, and I'll usually be on stage dancing with them, so it's fun.
Where does this event occur?
At the Irmo Community Park.
Irmo Community Park.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. There's another big event that the town of Irmo hosts there every year, the Okra Strut, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What is y'all's role with the Okra Strut?
It didn't sound like the most excited yet.
I'm just kidding.
One.
So the Okra Strut weekend for us is typically if you're working the road, it's not that that's not that big of a deal because they kind of try to stay away from it. But for me, typically it will start at Friday morning at 8 a.m. I'll come in, do what I need to do in the office, and then we leave and head down to the festival site and get prepared. And it goes till I don't know, 10 or 11 o'clock that night.
Yeah.
And then I'll be back up at 5:30, 6 a.m. getting ready for the parade. We'll have the parade. I'll go home, let my 2.5 dogs out, come back. I'm at the festival site all day Saturday into Saturday night till 10 or 11 o'clock at night. So it's literally, it's a great festival. It's just a very tiring weekend.
Yeah.
Sunday after the Okra Strut, I don't leave my couch. I don't. I'm making it rain with Motrin and Gatorade, and that's it.
So everybody that sees y'all during the Okra Strut just needs you to cut your little slack and behave and let y'all.
Yeah.
You've got to be there anyway. So
Yeah, like I said, it's fun. Don't get me wrong. We like walking around and interacting with people. It's just it is 2 very long days.
Nobody's staying at the festival that long themselves. They
Yeah.
are there.
Yeah.
They're opening it and closing
Yes.
it. There's usually names.
So you'll be trying to hide in the command post and take advantage of the air conditioning for a few minutes. We do get breaks and stuff, but everybody tries not to get stuck down at the pedestrian crosswalk at Lake Murray because it's literally the worst. It's like I said, you think that you've discovered the basement of stupidity, and then you direct traffic. And, it's
These people have their license?
Yeah, what? This is the only way I know how to get home. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh, jeez. So, anything funny been going on lately over at the department? Any funny stories, encounters y'all had that you haven't shared since you were last with us?
Well, I was telling you this morning at Coffee Talk about that last story time with Irmo PD where they had a guy who, a person. Anyway, whatever. They had a person who ran a stop sign in front of an Irmo officer, which was really obviously smart to do, right? Yeah. And so they ended up stopping said person, and their license was not good, which is shocking, right? Oh God, what, you're telling me your license is good, but it's not? Interesting. And so since this person did not have a license, even though they said they did, when they were doing a vehicle inventory because the car had to be towed, there was no valid driver, they found 14 pounds of marijuana in a suitcase. It was 13.98, but that's close enough to 14. And I'm it's just, so let me get this straight. You're trafficking marijuana, which is a violent crime in this state. Your license is suspended, right? And you're just not going to stop at a stop sign in front of a cop?
That's what we talked about this morning too. It's always a compilation of what's going on. If you have that much in your backseat, you think your first priority is the stop sign. It never is.
Bro, I'm gonna be checking my tag light, my blinkers. I'm gonna check my blinker fluid. Y'all ain't gonna get me on that.
If it's a red light and I'm turning right, I'm still not
Bro,
turning.
I'm
still not turning.
I'm stopping at the yellow.
Yeah.
And so the time before, and like I said, it's just people that are just they just make stupid choices. One of our officers got out with a car that was parked in a handicap parking spot at Kroger. You're literally the worst if you're not handicapped and you're parking in a handicapped parking spot. I'm not saying if you have somebody handicapped in the car with you, obviously that's fine. But if you are legit not handicapped and you park in a handicapped parking spot, you're a terrible person, even if it is for a few minutes. but this person did this, and our officer rolls up and is like, what do we have here?
Yeah.
And so the person comes like, oh, I just left my wallet. I was only in there for 5 seconds. And like, okay, yeah, I still need to see your ID. Like that, we're not having a conversation about whatever. So they can't find their ID, but they also promise that their ID is good, right?
Yeah.
It's fine. I'm good, bro.
You don't even have to run it.
Yeah, like, bro, I'm good. He was not good, bro. So the officer runs the ID. It's like super suspended. Like, I mean, so suspended, this person should not be allowed to look at a car. So now we're gonna, take it to jail for driving under suspension.
Yeah.
And they were, again, doing a vehicle inventory and found a big old bag of meth in the car and like some sketchy Xannies. All that because you parked in a handicapped parking spot. Lost your meth, lost your sketchy Xannies, lost the day of your freedom.
So I've heard, in conversations with people, other states have legalized the use of marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
And, I know that discussion is going on in this state from law enforcement perspective. Are y'all excited about that because that takes one less thing off the table? Or is it kind of like, it's a whole other drunk driving kind of thing where,
Did my major send you here with this question?
No, it did not.
Not today, IA. Are you trying to get me fired? I think that's more for like a head of an agency to speak on.
Yeah. I mean, it's coming, or it's
Right.
probably coming.
Right.
And
And I think, I'll get I'll get a lot of comments on Facebook if we do a story, and typically we're not gonna do it for like, oh, we got a dime bag of weed, yay, you know what I mean? Like, okay.
But 14 pounds is the whole
14
difference.
pounds.
That's
And
true.
so, and I was ready. I was ready for
Because
you.
you know they're not doing it on
Listen,
purpose.
I was ready for you legalization people because nowhere in the United States is it legal to have 14 pounds of marijuana in your car for personal. It's not. This is not legal. So, and pretty much my, what I tell people when they, like, well, it should be, you know what, I don't make laws, okay? So as long as it's illegal here, we are going to enforce the law. If you want to, and the thing is like, you'll have people that ride around and they're smoking it. Like, we can't smell it, really? Like, we don't know what it smells like, okay? Like, it's loud, okay? Like people that don't smoke marijuana can't smell it from a mile away. They don't make scent-free marijuana. So, like I said, I mean, it's as long as it's the law of the state, we will enforce the law. You're right. Is it probably coming? Yeah, it is. And then, like you were talking about, you look at some states where, okay, so they've decriminalized it, but what other crimes have gone up? Have DUIs gone up? Because some people believe that DUI is only alcohol. Well, it's not. It's drugs and alcohol. So just because your doctor prescribes you Xanax doesn't mean you can drive and take it. So you have to look at what other crimes have gone up because of this. And luckily for me, that is way above my secretary with a gun pay grade.
Well, I'll take it as a positive for the work that y'all are doing in the community, because at a meeting last week, Tapler was talking about major crimes in his area being down, and that includes the Irmo area. So y'all got to be doing something right.
Well, and I think another thing I've had to explain to people, because they're like, like I said, I'm not making an argument for or against legalization. I have no opinion. I follow the laws of the state of South Carolina. When people are like, oh, it's not dangerous, I don't think people realize how many people are shot and killed over bags of weed.
Bags of
minimal,
14 pounds.
Minimal, yeah.
I mean, just in general. Like, weed, dope deals, dope boys, dope deals gone bad. Like, I mean, there's a lot of violence that comes with that. So, like I said, you could make the argument that, well, if you legalize it, that's not going to happen. Okay, maybe it will, maybe it won't. I don't know. But what I have just seen is, there can be a lot of violence that comes along with that. And so it's not like, it's not like we want to crucify anybody that's got a dime bag of weed. I just think we also want people to understand that along with these things come other things. People, being killed over this kind of stuff. I mean, these days people will just shoot you for anything. Like you don't even have to, you know what I mean? Like we've all seen the stories in the news. Like it's insane. So there's obviously, that's an argument to be had by people that make way much more money than I do.
Well, last fall too, y'all did a turn-in day
For the guns?
For the guns thing, which was, I understand, hugely successful, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Are there, because of the success of that, are there plans to do another one?
You have to ask the chief.
You have to ask the chief.
Listen, I just remember like that day was crazy because
Yeah.
people were like pulling up with guns, and people had told us they had come from Charleston. But I think we were given, I can't remember if it was $125 or $150 a gun. But whatever it was the largest sum of money that had been offered, and you could turn it, like there's a max of 5 guns that you can turn in. So I think you had a lot of people, and most of the people that came through our line was like, let's say it was an older person who was just like, look, these were my husband's guns. I have grandkids. I'm scared. I don't want them in my home.
Yeah.
Like, okay. And if that person can get some extra money and these guns, they will never go back into circulation. Like I am very pro this woman's guns not being stolen in a home invasion and used to kill somebody.
And what you said right there, I think people need to hear, because from an outsider's perspective at first you can look at it and think, well, only the good people are turning in their guns, right?
Yeah.
Only the people who aren't committing crimes are going to be the ones who want to turn their guns.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens to the gun once it gets stolen? What happens to the gun once it's out of that family's use?
Yeah.
That's when it gets to the bad people. So that it's about the gun, not about the person.
And that's the thing is like, because I saw the comments like, take our guns, and it's insane. I mean, like I'm very pro Second Amendment. I feel like everybody that can carry a gun should carry a gun. However, I also feel like if there are people in their home that don't feel comfortable with having a gun, then I don't think you should be around a gun. And the last thing you want is her grandkid to pick up a gun, or some kids to be playing with a gun and kill some. I mean, that happens all the time. And so, like I said, with the way the economy was, it was right before Christmas. It was a chance to get some money and get rid of some stuff that, what, you're gonna move and leave it behind? Or like you said, somebody's gonna break into your house and now they have all these guns that they can go out and commit crimes with.
Yeah. Or like a house we were in the other week that's a hoarder house where there could have been 10 guns in that house and we would have never known. So
Just stuff you don't think about.
So we really appreciate you being with us.
Oh,
again
anytime.
today.
I really appreciate you asking me questions to try to get me fired. It's great. I'm just kidding.
So how did, you're in charge of social media for Irmo PD. So
Yes.
how can people follow you and watch what y'all do?
We're on Facebook with all the old people. It is what
It's
it is.
Irmo. It's Irmo.
Yeah, like listen, we did have an Instagram, but it really makes me mad when I try to add a picture and the specifications aren't right. So
Your photos aren't the same.
yeah, like you were talking about, I made a comment on my first personal Facebook. Like it's too much. I don't even get on my own social media. I'm like, Chief, if you would have wanted me off social media, you should have made me do this a long time ago because it's too much like a job. It's too much like what do I need to post? Do I need to post this? And then like you're going through, I think I remember like the first time I took it over, some football player had come to Irmo Elementary School for DARE. Don't quote me, I want to say it was Sterling Sharp maybe. He came to Irmo Elementary and spoke to the kids when they graduated DARE, and I wanted to post it, but then I'm like, hold on, let me see if Sterling Sharp's ever been accused of anything. Like, is it gonna come up? Like, has he had a run-in with a female? And so it's like you're like, what do I post? Because you're trying to please everybody, and it ain't possible.
Well, y'all can follow them on Facebook.
Yeah, we're on Facebook. We're all the old
Instagram's
folks
not
are.
happening.
Yeah.
Well, because y'all are a terrific police department. We really appreciate everything you do, and just knowing enough of y'all, it's like one big giant family. It seems
Right.
like.
Oh yeah, we're a big family.
So, well, thank you for being us. We're the Cola guys. I'm David,
And I'm George.
and have a great day.
Bye.